Hey, black women. I wanted to bring something to your attention so you guys don't overlook this as you are watching all these different black women content creators material. Okay, so as you know, the West 4B movement, the women centering themselves, is becoming a big deal, and it is doing what it's supposed to do. It's waking up black women to understand that there's a level of unity and self-respect and self-importance that we need to give each other and ourselves as black women as a group. Not trying to look for alliances with other women, especially white women who usually sell us out, throw us under the bus, take our movements we create, hijack them, and then make it all about them. So in this time of black women really having this reawakening where they are understanding that black women power and sisterhood and coming together and unity and solidarity is what we need going forward in this year, especially because this is the year of white male racist Republicans and evangelicals and conservatives, along with white women as well, trying to take away black women's right to vote, trying to take away all of our rights as human beings and reproductive rights. So while we have this huge active awareness of all of this needed social activism on a black women interest alone scale, you have other black women who are really in need of psychological help, therapy, and possibly medication. And I'm talking about people like Princella and others like her who have these huge platforms and who only are concerned with continuing their cash flow, and they're really not concerned with the conditions of black women, the futures of black women, the safety, welfare, and well-being of black women and girls. And they use their skin and their likability and the fact that they have a lot of followers that are not thinking clearly, flocking and cult following them. So I say this because I was scrolling through YouTube as I usually do, and I don't watch the big content creators because it's been my opinion, because it has happened to me, they steal material from the smaller ones. They claim it as if they're theirs, and because they have the bigger platform, they don't use the partial information that they take from the smaller ones to make a positive change and work for the betterment of black women in society and try to engage black women into more active civic duties like voting and challenging your representatives to make the conditions of your neighborhood better. They use that power to line their pockets with money. So as I'm scrolling, I'm scrolling down, I'm looking at like whatever's going on this week, and I happen to see a Tanya TKO video, and the video is her covering a video Princella did, like literally tearing Sandra Bland's personality, her sanity, and the fact that the crime committed against her humanity, which was to take her life, she like literally minimized and reduced it to shit by shit talking and bad mouthing a dead woman. And the reason she's doing this is because you have two key elements at play here. She was losing popularity due to her whole situation with that woman she was seeing, and the fact that a lot of her content has been controversy, and some of the people who have attended her events literally let people know that her book was nothing but AI generated nonsense. The fact that to have one of these so-called counselings with her would cost you anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for basically you to talk to yourself and her not to give you any sound advice. And then you have the second element, which is because of all of these movements that are happening within black women right now, and black women are taking finally a hold of their power and letting white men know, white women and black males especially, that we will not bow down to you. We will not let you take every right away from us and make us equivalent to an indentured servant or an actual slave, right? So as black women fight for whatever it is they feel they need to fight for, the West 4B movement, the centering yourself movement, the level up, whatever it is, the soft life, the I'm going to be a young woman and never have children, live my life, get my education, get my great career, travel this world, make money, and live the way I should. Every woman, especially black women, because we've had it the hardest out of all women on the face of this earth, right? You should understand that our time has been done with us caring for everybody, especially males, and not caring for ourselves. So as women, black women are going through this awakening, and their focus is on what black women desire, what they want, and what they need, and what they demand out of life. That opens up another level of mentality and intelligence and independent thought where you are no longer going to be brainwashed by people like Priscilla, because you begin to see through them. So what she has to do, when I was watching that video, which was rather disgusting and in serious poor taste, right, is to try to get you to lean back into those bad behaviors of what we have been doing for centuries, which has been taught to us from slavery and has been reinforced by having relationships with black males and having grown up under mothers who are male identified and who want to devalue black women to win the favor of black males. So what she's done, Priscilla, is tear down Sandra Bland's movements, everything she said, and make it seem like the white cop who killed her and beat her and assaulted her and just literally tortured her was in the right for doing that. And the whole time she's critiquing the car stop that Sandra Bland and this white racist cop was involved in, she only points out, look at what she's doing. She need to keep her fucking mouth shut. Look how she's moving. She's causing an incident. She's escalating the situation. You know, all of that same old shit that we have been hearing on YouTube for more than 2 decades of the black woman bashing by black males and the garnering and the cheering on and the hate mongering for black women, black women's independence, black women's resilience, black women's fire, aggression, and resistance, and they're continuing of saying, no, you will not shut me down, I will be heard type of movement, spirit, and personality. Okay. She needs to do this, Priscilla, with tearing down Sandra Bland and trying to redirect black women's heads back to her bullshit of brainwashing, because her whole level and video content of brainwashing black women is to make black women believe that they need to have this struggle within themselves, this personal crisis of feeling like, I don't need men, but I do need to talk shit about them every day, all day, and somehow feel some connection to them some way where I need to keep coming back to get this dopamine hit from her degrading these dudes and never ever talking to black women about improving themselves and what they can do to improve their finances, their standard of living, and how to avoid situations of black femicide and domestic violence or child sexual abuse and assault. So she does these things because she needs to keep these black women hooked, because as you know, too many of these creators, this is their only line of employment. And I will continue to reiterate that to y'all and hit y'all in the head with it so that you understand the level of exploitation these women are doing to you. It is not about them having the equity or the equality of what a white woman is entitled to, or if a white woman does it too. That is not what we're talking about. Because when you want to go down that alley, you have to remember that those white women are never doing to their own women what these black women are doing to their kind. Like, you never see white women on here degrading their own kind and making their women out to be the worst, monstrous people in the world. They will not do that. They will not show their women as monsters and being monstrous, because they have self-respect and racial pride. Whereas these women, they have no self-respect and they have no racial pride. Everything about them is to just have the skin, the blackness of skin, to attract you to their bullshit, to sell you out like every other con artist has done in the black community. From the preacher in the pulpit to the actual fucking pimp on the corner, or the one that is inside the brothel turning out little girls and women. So I say these things to y'all so that you understand that this is a time where you really don't need to be misdirected or redirected towards stupidity. You need to be out here really gearing up for all of the elections, local and national, that are coming your way, starting in June all the way to November, because all of those elections will directly affect you in a district, local, and national way. So please spend your time right now educating yourself on what each actual person who is running for office has done in the past, if they are an incumbent, or who says what they're going to do as a new candidate, and try to see if you can find or Google some track record to show that what they're saying is actually part of their true character. This is what you should be spending your time with right now. And the second thing is making sure that you advise every black woman you know to not vote Republican, but to vote Democrat, whether they care about the Democratic Party or not, because you need that party to make sure you do not lose the rest of your women's rights to your own fertility, to make sure that you do not lose your right to vote, because that is on the table. And also that the way that government runs today, and the checks and balances that we have in place, where the federal government can actually check the state when the state is out of control, is not taken away from us. Because that new administration Trump has trying to bring into existence wants to dismantle government, where there are no checks and boundaries for the state, city, and whatever these governors decide to do in their states, which are the main ones making all of these laws that are so restrictive to women, that the federal government cannot come and say that is going against those women's human rights, it is breaking the law, it's against the Constitution, etc., etc. And if you do not believe me, please spend your time more on reading the entire 900 and something page manifest of Project 2025, and also Agenda 47, which is all part of Trump's platform, and less of the Princella, Shira, Tanya, what's the other one that is a real urban bougie, and etc. You don't need to keep having relationship talk buzzed in your ear. And if it is going to be relationship talk, it should be seriously along the lines of West 4B and complete separation and self-centering. I'm really telling you, you have to take these things seriously, because if this tyrant gets into office, which I highly doubt it, but you never know, because the only way these people win is when the rest of us sit down, don't participate in the voting process, we don't cast a vote, and we allow them to win, because our numbers are bigger than theirs. Whether you want to believe it or not, we are not 13%, we are more like 60% of the society. So when we go out there and we vote for the things that black women need, we will get them, because there are more of us than you know. And you should already know by now that it is America's history to lie to you about the facts and to present to you false bullshit to make you think that you're not as powerful as you are. So please take my suggestions seriously. And for those black women here in New York City, please know that we have a black woman running for a New York Assembly. She is a first-time candidate. Her name is Lorinda Hooks. And she will be running for District 35 in the primary elections. All right. And early voting in New York for the New York State Assembly candidates will begin June 15th through June 23rd, and the general primary election will be June 25th. Black women in all of your other states, counties, cities, etc., please make sure you find out when each election is for everyone who runs or has a seat in your district, in your town, your city, or your state, and make sure you have a say in what they do in your life and what they do as their job as being a representative for whatever seat they hold. These are the things and the topics we should be making more than important on YouTube, TikTok, and etc., because the way we vote in this country dictates our future, and it dictates how much we have. Please do not take this time to listen to people who only start talking about the amount of money they have in their pocket and why they would vote for this candidate or not. Life is much, much deeper than just fighting about money. If you don't have rights, you will make no money. The money we are allowed to have is not enough for us to make the changes we need in this country the way it needs to be done. So you have to cast your vote and get in the game. Actually get petitions together and get yourself into these seats of representation so that things can change for our women and our girls. Okay? Have a nice day. I felt that I had to bring this to you because I keep seeing way too much distraction towards black women to wrap their minds around relationships and stupidity, when all of your time should be focused on abortion rights and getting them back, dealing with trying to restore diversity through some type of new affirmative action, talking with your representatives, or at least emailing and calling them in reference to their stand and asking them for their support on reparations and anything else that concerns black women and girls. That is where our primary focus, energy, and time should be allotted to. Okay? Be well. Please take the things I've said into consideration, and most of all, always be active in the political fight wherever you live, anytime, all times, because our lives literally depend on it. If these white men have their way, I put up a video today on my community page from, what's that lady's name? Joy Reid, her show. And she literally was talking to another white man who was exposing these upper echelons of white people who are going out of their way to try to take America, reset America back to the antebellum slave times, where it was a literal group of rich people who actually were running everything where it concerns the everyday person, to the point where you have no rights to fight back against injustices at work. You have no rights to fight back about wrongful incarceration, etc., etc. And when you have white people trying to put stuff like that back on the books, that is going to directly affect us black women and our children. I'm not talking about black males because I don't care about their fight. But we are the ones also becoming the fastest growing demographic in these prisons. And with videos and these type of new trends coming out where you have young women trying to fight and buck and push back against their moms, grandmoms, and having this whole ageism issue, colorism, and competition of women when women are not competing with them, is problematic, because all of that plays into your mentality. And having that type of mentality will lead you to living a very risky life that will probably end in either you losing your life or ending up in the penitentiary. And this is what these people have planned. Because remember, please remember, these white folks have been studying black people, these videos, and watching us and watching how we react to silly shit, serious shit, and shit that we really need to be concerned with. And they understand what buttons to press, and they know what to do to get you either motivated or feel like it doesn't matter. And you sit down, you don't do shit, and then everything happens, and now you're in trouble, and now you're looking like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. So I'm here trying to let you know, always keep that in the forefront of your mind before you go to look at any beauty video, travel, relationship talk, marriage talk, children talk video. Think about the political ramifications of what is going on in the real world first. Contribute to that and then do the pleasure. Because if you have no rights, no freedom, no self-expression, no ability to protect yourself, what's the sense of living any fucking way? Have a great day, y'all.